Are we good? Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to have you here today. We've got an awesome event. I know I can't even believe that 2022 is almost here. I think I saw something, that it's like 2019 was almost 3 years ago, which does not even seem possible. But I think we're all ready to make 2022 our best year yet. We've had some crazy, unexpected things. So now it's time to live life by design. I want to welcome you all here. I'm Amy Scalia. I'm managing editor of Cincinnati Refined. And years ago, I started Cincy Chic, and that's where I initially started working with Melissa Kirkpatrick. At the time that I met her, she was actually running 2 local golf courses, and she and I worked together with the golf courses, and she started leading a women's event and trainings, kind of incorporating the lessons that you learn on the golf course and incorporate those lessons into real life. And where she started to learn the ability to be able to help people personally, professionally, and apply a lot of those life lessons. So I'm so excited to have her here today. She's now a life and business coach, and she runs her own business coaching business. She's also a very accomplished speaker. We had her at the State House a couple years ago speaking. She does chamber events, networking events, corporations, all kinds of speaking engagements. And she's also an author, which, by the way, everyone who's in attendance today will be getting information on how to download her free ebook, free for those who are attending here today. So we are so excited to have her be our featured speaker for this first ever virtual vision boarding event, and help us all to visualize our best year yet and what to do and what are some of those.
I muted you.
I'm unmuted.
Sorry.
The beauty of Zoom, you'd think that after a couple of years of doing this, we would be really good at Zoom, but I don't know how much I was muted of that, but we are so excited to have Melissa here today and have her speaking and engaging with us. This is an interactive workshop. So we want, any questions, feel free to put that into the chat or let us know that you have a question, and Melissa's right here. We're all live. So feel free to pop in with any questions that you have, any ideas, anything that might spark something within the conversation. We would love to be able to answer those right here live for you and make this as interactive and as helpful as possible. So without further ado, Melissa Kirkpatrick.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Amy, for that great introduction. It's always a pleasure to be working with you at all the different levels that we've been a part of, and being able to bring light and awareness and giving people an opportunity to learn beyond what they already know, because I'm a lifelong learner. I think this is a perfect timing for us to all kind of settle in, take this moment for yourself, have something to drink, pen and paper. We want you to, put questions in the chat. Let us know where you're from. How did you find the workshop? Whatever you want to put in the chat, we'll definitely be interactive with that. And then I want to just really give you some great tools so that you can start thinking beyond your current circumstances and situation, because that's how my life started. That's where it all began. I didn't know I was creating things for myself until I got older. And then I realized, wow, I am quite the manifester, and I really can create my life by design. And so it's so fun to teach others to be able to do that as well. Want to make sure, Amy, are you able to net people as we get started?
Let me see if I can help here.
Okay, because that's what's happening now. Everybody found the link.
Good.
And if everyone would mute themselves when they come in, that would be great also. Okay, so here we go. We are talking about the 2022 Vision Board virtual workshop. And just Amy introduced me, and I just want to give you a quick snapshot. You know, vision boards are about pictures and images. They speak 1,000 words. And so I put this together as part of my introduction. Who am I? I'm a business coach, motivational speaker, and an author. But if you notice over there on the screen, that little girl in those shorts and that little sleeveless top, that's the little Missy, who was probably around 8 years old, maybe 9, who didn't realize she was on a journey of a lifetime, that she was going to create her life every decade new and just be prosperous and happy and fulfilled. Because back then, you know, she was just figuring things out. And I started my entrepreneurial journey when I was 10 years old by selling out of a catalog down the country roads to farm wives, stationery, wrapping paper, note cards. And I was able to get mine for free because I took the initiative to do that. So that's been fun for me to look back. But all the years forward, being a high school IT teacher, owning and operating golf courses, teaching women about the game of life, how you show up on the courses, how you show up in your life, and then being able to author in collaborations and speaking engagements, I really have my cup full and I keep filling it every day. And so I want to give you the opportunity to walk away today with some inspiration, motivation, drive, and focus, because that's who I am. I am the one that's going to take you on this journey. And I hope that you're ready, because if you can't be leaving this workshop feeling better than you did when you came into it, I've done something wrong. But I don't think that's going to be the issue. So here we go. Life is about finding yourself, or it's not about finding yourself. It's about creating yourself. And I think that's what a lot of us really get stuck on. And I know Amy and I, we've worked together, like she said, for, I don't know, 2008, I think was our initial introduction. And her journey has been challenging as well, right?
Oh, right. Absolutely. Personally and professionally. And, you've been a coach to me for, oh my gosh, over a year, and it's been a crazy year. And I think that this is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned, is that just like this quote says, it's not finding yourself, it's not digging, and then all of a sudden one day you're like, here it is. It's about all of these life experiences, good and bad, lead you to who you are, and then how can you find your purpose through that. And that's the beautiful thing, is realizing that it's a creation process, and it isn't that finding yourself.
Exactly. So many people are trying to find their life's purpose, when I believe your purpose changes just like
Mhm.
we do. We're not the same person we were, when we were 10 or 20 or 30. Like, we get the opportunity to always recreate ourselves, to always find a new purpose, to level up our life's journey. And that's what visualizing and visualization and vision boards can actually create for you. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about these areas that I know are important when you're trying to really get clear on what it is you want to create for your life. And we'll talk about the vision boards, but I want to talk about these key principles, because this is the game changer. This is what I'm finding in my life and my clients are experiencing. So we're talking about designing that future with a practice, and then being able to create it so that you can hold that image strong enough that it becomes your reality. But the key things are the clarity that you set when you establish it, the reinforcement, how are you going to keep yourself moving daily, and then those intentions that are happening every minute and every moment. So we're going to break all of that down, but I want to start with what you're here for. You're talking about your vision board. This is just your reference point. This is just something that you can quickly look at. It comes in many forms. You can do a Pinterest board, you can do a scrapbook, you can do a bulletin board, you can put it on your phone. There's apps out there, but it's all about, when you look at that board, that vision comes to life. Like, you know immediately what you want to create. If you notice the one down in the bottom of the haircuts, like, do I kind of resemble those haircuts? Of course, because that's what I want to create for myself. The thing is we often think it's like Amazon Prime. I throw those pictures up on a paper and Amazon's going to bring it to me tomorrow. It doesn't happen that way, and it doesn't happen that quickly. And oftentimes we take pictures off and put them replace it with a different picture, because now we've decided, this is something else I would rather have. And give yourself permission to have fun with it, to change it, to alter it, to really give yourself that feeling. When you look at it, you feel so good, because that's really what it's to do. It's raising your vibration. The other reason that we use these images and words is because, as I said, images speak 1,000. words, without any words being spoken at all. And so that motivation, that value, it gives you what you're working for, why you get up in the morning. No one cares why you get up in the morning. It's why you care that you get up in the morning. So that's why this vision of your life is so important. And remember, to stay focused is about accomplishing the things that are there, the things that you want to get to. Now, it doesn't mean overnight success is going to happen. That can be 5 or 10 years in the making, but every little step forward is leading you into creating that reality that your mind is imagining. Amy has been a partner with me in my vision, in my intentions, my desires, and she can probably give you a little bit of what we've just created. You want to share a little bit, Amy?
Absolutely. And I have to tell you, I was not on board with the whole idea of a vision board at first. I was like, this is crazy. You put things up there, you cut, magazine pieces out, and like, this is supposed to like magically appear in your life. So the first time I ever did it with Melissa, I put, okay, I would one day love to have granite countertops. I'd love to have this. I'd love to have that. But we have 3 small children. We're saving for college, all this stuff. And lo and behold, we had an accident that happened to our house. A windstorm hit our house. We were living in a hotel for 7 months almost. And I have to tell you, when I got back, I had taken a picture of it and of my vision board before this accident. And like Melissa says, it comes in different forms. And, I would look at this as part of like my regular routine. And all of a sudden I realized towards the end, when we were selecting, some of the things to replace what was damaged in the house damage. And I was so down about what all was happening in life. And it just was crazy. And why did this happen to us? And the day that we picked out materials for our kitchen, and they said, the small little upcharge to get the granite versus what you had. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's actually happening. I never thought that this was going to be happening for me, and I put it on this woo-woo, vision board, and this is actually happening. And the weird, crazy things in life that I thought, initially look bad on the surface, this is all leading you to it. And it's just about incorporating this vision board, looking at it, making it a part of your psyche. And even though bad things happen and it might feel like a setback, there will be things that propel you forward to accomplish these things. So I just wanted to preface all of this. I know that was a long story, but it was the thing that really made me believe in vision boarding, because it made me realize that it's not a straight line to get to the things that you want. You're going to take a wayward way to get there. But this is a great way for you to visualize something that you want. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in that year. It could just be like, this is the life that I want to create for myself, and I want to make steps there. And it will make you realize that good or bad things that happen to you, you're making steps towards these things that you want. And I know that that's happened for me personally, and Melissa's been a big part of that and helping me stay, focused on what it is that I want and the steps to get there. And she's made those steps too, in her life, and getting into this, business ownership and helping others, everything that she's envisioned for herself. It's been amazing to watch. So vision boards definitely do work for sure.
Thank you, Amy. And you've been such a good student with all the learning and the training and the work that we've done together. And that's it. You have found the best practices for you to create and manifest your best life. And, our thoughts becomes things. You can talk yourself into a headache or a stomach ache. You can talk someone else into not feeling good enough or well enough. And that's the whole part of it. All starts in the mind. The vision is where it all starts. And then what you do with that is you put it on paper, as I mentioned, as a reference. So when you're talking about living your best life, it's about really being clear on your desires. I remember watching Oprah, and she had people on there talking about vision boards, and this was years and years ago. The gal had this beautiful living room furniture and all the things that she wanted, the accessories, and she got that. But what she didn't realize, in the picture, there was these 2 really big breed of dogs sitting at the foot of the couch. She has these really 2 breed of dogs that she never intended on having dogs. And that's what created in her manifestation. So even though the dogs were there, she didn't put the emphasis on it, but it actually became her reality. So be very clear on what it is you desire, because sometimes we may not be clear enough to where we get something that doesn't look like we had intended, but it could be something better or something more. And then learn how to let go of the how and the whys. I think that's a stumbling block for a lot of us, is if I want to have, a really good year in business and make, $100,000, I'm immediately going, well, how am I going to do that? And when is it going to happen? It's about, no, put yourself into action, because that's where you get to that marker. The things that I'm doing now, I planted the seeds years ago. I can see that now. And Amy and I talk about it all the time, how it's like, oh, and this happened and that happened. Just past week, I had 3 speaking engagements in the evening. That was one of the things I talked about probably a year and a half ago with Amy when she was doing the live Cincy Chic events. I'm like, I want to be able to be out every night and do these things. And you're just here and you're just there. And then it's like, oh my, this is where I'm at. So sometimes we forget, and we'll talk about that in accountability, but it's about where you were. You're here and you want to get there. We have to watch and monitor what we're doing, but not getting hung up on the hows or whys, because sometimes the cosmic kitchen will inspire you and can inspire on your behalf and give you opportunities you didn't even know or even plan. The strength is in your belief, believing it will come true, believing some form of it will show up. And if you take an inventory of what you've created already, if you look around in your house or in your office or at your car, you created all of that. You manifested every bit of that. And the thing is was it what you wanted? Was it what you intended? And maybe it is. And now you can look at something better or something more. I bought a Cadillac Escalade back in 2009. It's a 2002 version. The dream car that I wanted was the car, but I got the Escalade. I love it. And I don't even want to get rid of it. And so every day I get in there, I'm just grateful that I have this vehicle that I love and I love to drive. And it just reminds me how important it is to even bring in gratitude. That belief is about the gratitude. Open up and take inspired action. If there's an opportunity, don't hesitate. You want to take that inspired action. So if you're thinking about losing weight and someone mentions a new gym opened up down the road, you didn't hear that by accident. You might want to go check that out and figure out what works for you. It doesn't mean you've got to join the gym, but at least visit it, because there could be something there. It's a breadcrumb leading you to the next thing. And then also stay firmly in your belief until it becomes your reality. So many people want to tell you you're doing it wrong. You'll never be that person. I mean, who thought I would own and operate golf courses? That wasn't on my vision board, but I knew I wanted to be a very successful businesswoman. I wanted to create things that were going to give people an opportunity to experience life at the next level. Who knew it was golf? I thought I was going to be working as an executive or corporate ownership. I didn't know what it looked like. I just knew that's what I desired. And then there it shows up for me. All right. So my intention for today is about helping you to create a legendary vision board so clear it becomes your reality. Oftentimes we get out of bed in the morning and we don't even know how to start our day. Amy and I did some work together, actually this time last year, about getting up every day. And I'm going to jump ahead on the accountability, only just briefly, Amy, about the intention setting that we did on those calls. We'll talk more about the calls that we did with accountability, but the intention setting, that was probably one of the things that you knew or didn't know was going to change everything in motion. Do you want to talk about intentions?
Yeah. So this was at this time last year, the world was starting to open back up, and I realized that I had kind of been lazy and eating my feelings the whole entire COVID thing. And so I wasn't fitting into clothes, and like now I'm all of a sudden starting to go out in the world and like need to wear those clothes. And I just wasn't feeling happy with, where my health and wellness was. And so previously I had been really good about getting up in the morning and working out and just getting my thoughts together in the morning, but I just wasn't able to get back into that groove. And Melissa's really big about 21 days makes a habit. And I said, Melissa, would you ever be interested in, could I hire you to do maybe a 21-day call at 5 a.m.? I want to start getting up at 5 a.m. And could we do some sort of intention setting? I want to create a habit. And so lo and behold, she called me for 21 days at 5 a.m., even on the weekends. The first couple of days I didn't answer because I was super tired and I'm like, what's going on? But, eventually we got into the groove of it. And literally still today, a year later, I'm still getting up at 5, if not earlier now. Now, like 5 a.m. is like sleeping in. It's crazy. But it's been so amazing to be able to have something that I wanted to create in my life, but I knew that I couldn't do it alone. So Melissa definitely helped me with that. And then the opportunities that it opened from there, because I was able to have that time to myself, really get my thoughts together, be able to put in a little work on some side things that ended up, we are starting a foundation. We've created, with my husband and I, we were able to create this whole online community that we had been thinking about doing for a long time. So it's like that little bit of time, I knew that I needed that in my life. I didn't know what I would create with it. And, who would have known that we were able to create foundations and online communities, make career changes, and all these big things that ended up benefiting quality of life so much. And I just knew that first little nugget to get me there was I knew that I needed to get up in the morning and get my thoughts together and, be able to set my intentions before the kids woke up and life just took over and I was just into autopilot. I wanted to be more intentional.
Yes, yes. And that, I thank you, Amy, because that really, it was when I'm serving others, I'm being served. And so it set in motion for me to get up at 5 a.m. for a client, but it also set the intention for me to see how would this work with others. And so I started promoting it and individuals were signing up for it. And then I brought it into a group program. And I bet there's probably, I think there's been over 20 people that have gone through this daily intention setting for 21 days, which then turned into re-upping each month. They come back and want more because they recognize starting the day with a stated intention can really get you focused rather than jumping out of bed, stubbing your toe, being late for work, spilling your coffee, kids are screaming. I mean, whatever it looks like, it's getting grounded in that moment and setting what that intention is. So here's some areas that when we usually create a vision board, we look at. And you can have a vision board with everything on it, or you can have individual vision boards, or you can have vision boards that are using one or two pieces. And I think that's the thing. A lot of times we don't give ourselves permission to be able to create it however we want. So maybe you want to just start in one area, like your wealth or your career or personal or professional development, like you're doing here. But the thing is you want to break it down in categories. And then what kind of things in those categories would you want to be, do, or have? These are just a few examples of those areas. But when you create that, so let's, if we're looking at and improving our revenue on our business and we want a new job, something like that, we have to start from a place of feeling good about that. And what happens with mood, when I talk about setting a mood, is if you've just argued with your significant other, your dog just threw up on the floor, your car broke down, I don't think I would be in the mood to create a vision board at that time or get excited about what I can do. You're going to be in a very angry, upset, not focused mood. So maybe you get a glass of wine and light a candle and play some soft music and you think, what is it I really want to create for my life? Give yourself that space. And then what is it do I really want? Not what other people want for me, but what do I really want? I really want to get massages once a month. I used to do that and I don't do that anymore. And I have the excuses. I don't have time. I don't have the money. Well, I can wait another month. But it's really about what do I truly want? And you can just, even before you start the vision board, just start writing this all out. I call it a brain dump. Just dump everything that comes out. Make that list something you do every day, right? Add to it or take off and kind of like a grocery list. What would you shop for if you had this big store that you could walk in and it's the store of Melissa or the store of Amy? What would you select? And then the representation comes with the images, the photos. If you want a new car, go to the car dealer and sit in that car and get a picture of yourself in that. That's going to raise your vibration because the minute you smell that new car smell and you're behind that wheel, it's going to come a lot faster than you realize. Or maybe you need a new home and you want to go to the Home-A-Ramas or go look at some real estate options and just feel what that feels like. That creates the vision in your mind, which also creates the vision that you can put in into a vision board. That's the real thing. And then, make it a collage. So maybe it's not just one image that you're going to create of the new home or the new car or the new career. You can put it in different aspects of what that might look like. And then Be sure that it's somewhere that you see it at least once a day, maybe twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. First thing when you wake up, when you grab your phone, maybe you have the image there, or maybe it's on the wall in your bathroom, wherever you can see it. But don't forget about it. Always keep yourself reminded about it. So the things that with vision board is about these, I feel, the most important steps when you create it. So we talked a little bit about the clarity. We're going to talk about alignment, how you set the intention for the board, how you visualize it, what types of affirmations you can use to lock it in, and then getting that accountability. So first is clarity. By definition, clarity is a clear expression, easy to understand, and free from any confusion or doubt. When you're talking about what it is you want, act as if you're telling a 5 or 6-year-old what you want for yourself, and be very descriptive in what you want. I want a Cadillac Escalade. I want it black. I want a 2021 version. I want it to be fully loaded. I want to have a sunroof. I want to have a towing package, whatever that is, but be very clear and precise in what it is that you want. And then you can always add or something better. So my car turned into the Escalade. Amy's house that she lives in now, that was a whole turn of events for her, even though she didn't necessarily want to leave the home she was in, especially after the accident with the tree falling on your house. But what did you find, Amy? I'm thinking specifically like the things you found out about this house that you didn't even know. And you went from Pinkerton down to
Yeah, we went from Columbus, Pickerington, to Greendale, Indiana, which is near Lawrenceburg, about 30 minutes outside of Cincinnati. Yeah, so this was crazy that, we just started to look. We knew that we wanted to move back closer to family. And, we had all these homes. It's a crazy housing market right now. And my husband found this house in Lawrenceburg, and I was thinking, oh, that's going to be out there. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's definitely the lowest on the totem pole for me. And then we went through the house, and it was perfectly laid out where the kids would be all up at the top level. They would have a playroom. We go through the basement, and there was a room that they didn't even put on the listing that was all soundproof for my husband's like music stuff that he has. And we're like, oh my gosh, that would be perfect for this. And then we're driving out of the neighborhood, and the foundation that we're starting is called PS Never Give Up. And on the sign, Lauren Hill is from the area, and her slogan was Never Give Up. And that was on the marquee that welcomes you to the community. And I'm like, never give up. Oh my God, sign. I was like, this is the house. I mean, literally like that, where we had just started looking of like kind of envisioning, what's it going to be like? What's the drive going to be like? If we're working downtown or, driving to family, what's that going to be like? And we just started that search and happened upon the perfect house for us. And it's crazy how it all works out. So we were very clear in that we wanted to get back home. And again, it's just starting with that first step, and then the staircase appears for sure.
Exactly. Yes. And I love that, because it wasn't that you created a vision board about it, but your thoughts were there, especially when you were in the other house about your gym. You wanted a bigger workout gym. You had converted a section of your home, but it was a smaller place. And then, like you said, then the bonus was it wasn't even advertised about the music studio and stuff. So that's what I mean by you went out. You didn't think that house even had a chance of being one that you would select, but you went to look at it anyway. And all those winks, all those signs from the universe that said, this is the house. And I love seeing your guys' pictures with, the everyone in there now and making it a home, and then just seeing those sunrises or the walks that you guys do from your new location, because it truly is what Scalia Party of 5 needed for their life.
It was fun.
So just to help others on the clarity, knowing what you want will allow you to actually create an actionable plan, especially if you have a long-term version or vision. So if I wanted to lose weight, the thing is we oftentimes want to do it for a place and a time. We don't think about what does it look like 5 years from now? Where do I want to be at? It's because we're cutting off the long term of losing the weight or getting healthier, because we are not really looking at a longer version of it. And if I want to eat healthier, what kinds of food am I going to eat? And am I going to consistently eat those? I think that's the other thing. Or if I want to improve my business, how big of a business do I want? How big is my team going to be? How much revenue am I going to bring in? This is what I mean about the clarity, and not letting the hows or the wins get in your way. learning to really expand that version beyond what you already know, because we already know what we know. It's what we don't know that we're seeking, that we're going to go find out what it is that we want. So this is where the alignment will come into play. Your thoughts, your choices, and your direction is all about those directions that we have. And so in the chat box, be sure to let us know if anything comes up, if you have questions too. I want to make sure that we can use that. But actually, if anybody's done a vision board, put yes in the box that you've done a vision board before. I do want to know that, and we can look at that later. But the alignment about thoughts, choices, and direction. So if I want to be healthier or eat healthier, then I'm probably not going to necessarily be going to maybe some of the parties or the restaurants or gatherings that I would go to and act the same way. Eating the desserts or drinking the alcohol or binging on mashed potatoes. Like, the alignment is, okay, if I'm choosing to do this differently, then I become a different person. I become someone who's acting different, not in a bad way, but in a way that aligns with this new version of myself. So if you look at others that you inspire to be, like I was talking about Amy and the Cincy Chic and having these live events, I was inspired by her. I wanted to align myself with what she was doing because that was part of my vision. I wanted to host events. I wanted to speak. I wanted to connect others together. So that's what I mean by alignment. Those thoughts, those choices, and the direction you're headed in is really what's helping you to get the clarity and start creating more for yourself. So when we talk about alignment, it's about developing a habit inventory. What are the things that I'm doing now that if I didn't do, I could do this instead? So, and it could be easy as if I'm meeting with 5 people a week for conversation about a career, for me coaching, what if I would get 10 people? What could I do differently? If I'm only talking with 5, how could I get 10? What would I need to do? If I'm going to 1 networking meeting, maybe I need to go to 3. If I can get referrals, who would I ask? It's just developing a new habit. Don't repeat the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, because we all know that is insanity. We can't get there doing the same thing that we are doing now. The person I was in my 20s is not the person that I am now. She did things a lot different than I am doing now, obviously. And in between, there was a lot of changes too, especially when you become a parent or you get a new pet or you change careers or maybe you get divorced. I mean, all of those things create this new version of you. So be aware of your habits and maybe make a list of it. And then be clear on what matters most to you. If you say that you are not going to eat sugar, make that a priority. And if anyone else tells you otherwise, that's their problem. It's about you. Everything's about you. This is your journey. You control who you are in this journey, and everybody else is just a player in your game. So if you think about it in terms of that, what they are giving you, you can either take it or you can leave it. And it really is about what makes you feel good and why you want to get up in the morning, why you care to get out of bed. And then review your progress. If you're not celebrating your achievements and you're just saying, well, I did that, but I could have done better, or yeah, I got recognized for that. But if you're always throwing the butts in there, stop. Celebrate the win. If someone gives you a compliment, thank you. I received that. If you see someone and you want to give them a compliment, don't hesitate. I like your shoes. Like, be very open to these celebrations, because again, that's raising that vibration. That's creating more like in your universe. And that's creating more for you to continue to strive for what it is you're creating in your reality. And the best advice I can give you, it's progress over perfection. I have been working on that all year this year, that I can't beat myself up for every little slip up or every little thing that didn't go my way by thinking that it's all done. It just tells me progress over perfection. Every day I wake up, I'm still here. I get to do it again, and I get to decide what I will alter or change on this path. The intention. This is what Amy was talking about when we started with the accountability program, by setting those intentions. She listened to her higher self. She knew there had to be a solution. There had to be a way to really create what it was she wanted. She just didn't know how to do that. So by contacting me and having that conversation, we were able to aim the target and then make the plan. And it was like, do we talk on weekends? And she's like, well, I don't know. Do you want to talk on weekends? And I'm like, yep, I will talk on weekends. Because again, the intention was for her to lock in to a new path, to a new strategy, to a new way of creating her life by design because what she was doing before was not working. So she was able to give herself that opportunity to say, I can't do that. And I know there's a lot of stuff on this slide, but I just wanted to give you some other ways of creating yourself with a new specific state of mind or frame, mindset, your frame of mind. So first, you have the freedom and power to become whoever you want to be. I mean, if you want to be a rock star, movie star, executive, wife, mother, all those things, right? We have a choice of who we want to be. It's just how we're going to get there. But the key to intention setting is about what are you intending? So these are some general ones. I intend to lead by example. I intend to love unconditionally. I intend to make mindfulness an important part of each day. We all can use that, right? We want to lead by example, unconditional love, and be mindful. But when you make your intentions, make sure that they're adjustable and they're attainable. So my intention is to be a rock star by the end of today. That might need a little adjustment, and that might need a little bit of awareness of the attainability for that to happen. It doesn't mean 10 years from now I could be a rock star. Anything's possible. Maybe I marry a rock star, but I'd have to get divorced, but that's a whole other story. And then don't stop. Or like for this one, I will stop stressing becomes my intention is to enjoy the peace I create in my life. When we talk about affirmations, it's all about flipping the script. If you find that you're always being stressed out and you want to stop, don't say I want to stop stressing, because the universe only hears stressing. It doesn't hear the negative words, because that's how the universe is. It hears the positive. So my intention is to enjoy the peace I create in my life. So Amy, you had a lot of chaos in your life. And I remember the phone call. And you were like, oh my gosh, Melissa, my world is crumbling. So you want to share a little bit about how we reframed that for you?
Yeah, for sure. There was a big shakeup with my husband's job that we were in Columbus for at the time. And at the time and on the surface, it felt devastating. It felt like a big loss. And then Melissa helped me to reframe. Her saying is always, out of this, good will come. And to have someone say that in the middle of what felt so devastating was like confusing at first, but then also super comforting. And it's been a personal mantra of mine, like after, ever since she did that. And I realized that a lot of good did come from that. And that looking back at, again, like the windstorm and things like that, so much good has come from that. Like because of the windstorm, we were able to basically, refurbish our entire house, had over $200,000 in recent updates to the house. And when we went to sell that house, we were able to put that on the listing, and it sold so fast, and for so much more than we would have ever been able to sell, if that had not happened. And because of the timing, it happened. And again, the timing just felt so abrupt of, what felt so devastating at first. And then, I just kept reminding myself, out of this good will come, out of this good will come. And it was because I had someone to give me that bird's eye view of my life and walk with me every step of the way, and be able to have that sounding board of like, hey, this is what happened. Help me digest this. And my plan, my vision, my intentions. Help me make this make sense,
Yeah.
And that's really why I am always singing Melissa's praises, because she has helped me turn some very confusing and what felt like very difficult things into some of the best things that have ever happened.
Yeah. And that's it. It's having someone to hold you accountable, to have you get your mind back on straight, get your head back on straight, because we create so many thoughts that are negative, that is just going down the rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, my world is falling apart. Chicken Little, the sky is falling. But when I learned that quote, out of this situation, only good will come. Everything is working out to my highest and best good. All is well. I am safe. That's a Louise Hay. That was a game changer for me, because anytime I feel like things are out of my control, and oftentimes they feel that way, I bring myself back into control. Who am I in this version of myself? Did I come this far only to come this far? And that's where we start lighting up and knowing that, wait a minute, no, I am a creator, I'm a powerful manifester, and I can live my life by design. And for some of you, that might be hard to believe or accept, but I'm going to say, let me hold the faith till you can, because this is the work that I do. This is what I help people quit going back to that old version. We want to get to that new version. We want to make sure that when we're faced with challenges or obstacles or setbacks or stumbling blocks, we have a way out. We have a clearer vision instead of feeling like this is it. Nothing is ever going to improve. Because if you look back on your life and take an inventory right now, there were other times when you felt like, nothing ever works out for me. This is not good. It's never going to get any better. And then here you are, you're showing up today. So that tells me you're still here, you're still playing the game, and you're still being fulfilled with the journey that you're on and the life you're creating. And it can be even more juicier than you ever imagined. So let's talk about visualization and those mental images that we create. Again, Amy came to me with this visualization of, or telling me the story. So I created the visualization of what she was saying. And then it was my place to help her shift those images so they didn't look as dreadful or look as crashing down her world, and she'll never come out of this on the other side. We always do. It's how we navigate the situation and tell the story moving forward. So the big thing is, you know what you want and you know what you don't want. And you are good at telling me what you don't want. Everyone is so good about talking about what we don't want. If someone gives you a compliment and you look good, it's like, oh, it's an old shirt. I didn't wash my hair. I'm overweight. I didn't get any sleep last night. Like, that's what we don't want, right? We don't want those things, but we love to publicize it. We love to tell others about it. So the goal here is to say, I know what I want, and let go of what I don't want, because the more you say I don't want something, the more you're going to get that. And so the goal is to polish that and enhance it, change it, make it doable, take those baby steps rather than those giant leaps. I think Emily's on the call when her company is For Small Change. It's all about that. And I recognize the importance of it. It's do the one thing differently that it wasn't working for you before. So maybe you get out on the opposite side of the bed. Maybe you drive a different route to work. Maybe you brush your teeth with the opposite hand. Do something small that's going to start changing what you're in a habit, a routine of doing, because creating something more out of a habit, you have to create new habits. So the visualization is seeing yourself being able to create that. And then that's where we come into the affirmations. You got to be specific. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your physical reactions are always working. You are aligning with everyone's energy and the universe's energy. And from there, it's knowing how you can project yourself out with what you're speaking. Your words become your reality. So if I trust in myself and I choose fear over faith, and I'm brave and bold, and I am enough, and I believe in me, and I deserve love and compassion, if I fail, I will rise up. I am creating my life exactly as I want, and I am at peace with who I am. There was a couple other ones over here on the side, but they were hidden. So that's where I know this to be true. I will say to myself, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And I learned that through tapping, EFT tapping. But what I use that for is when I cannot get my mind to shut off at night when I go to bed, or if I'm in a situation where I just want to just really word vomit over everybody and really get my frustrations out, I have to pause and ground myself. And I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And if you don't believe that to be true, then you can say, I am willing to deeply and completely love and accept myself. There's the conscious language. I teach this all the time because we are so used to hearing it in the negative form that we don't even see how to make it sound positive. So remember that with affirmations, they can elevate where you're at from here to there quickly because you hear it. And after a while, it just becomes second nature. You just know that to be true. What about people that say, I'm not a coffee drinker, I am a coffee drinker? Whatever one you are, that's what you do every day. And you tell people that. But I never drank coffee till I was 30. And now I'm a coffee drinker, but I always said I don't ever drink coffee. So it was what I became. One day I had a cup of coffee and decided, oh, I'm a coffee drinker now. So it's just those little things that we don't realize are going on every day around us. And we're hearing people say things. It's about who you are and what you want to take from it and what you want to let go and how it's going to build you up and make you feel better. You can feel good right where you are, but you also can feel even more better. Is that a word? Can I say it like that? More better? Even better. There we go. Even better. And that's cool, because if you think about people that maybe you're with, or family members or former employees, a lot of times the goal was, go to school, get a job, work 30 years, sit in your recliner in retirement, and then wait for that end date. We don't do that anymore, right? Women are leveling up every chance they get. They're coming into alignment with what's next for them. It's no more like, I'm too old, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not whatever enough. We are enough. And that's where we come into holding yourself accountable. Because if you're not able to get out of that negative mindset or out of that rut, this is where the accountability will happen. This is how you can stay on track. And it's about setting yourself up for success. And this is what Amy created when she reached out to me and said, how can you hold me accountable? I have an intention and I need your support. So Amy, from the accountability, what was your big takeaway? One or two big takeaways from that?
Well, I think I think everyone kind of hits that point of, I know I can envision this better version of myself, but I keep hitting a roadblock. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I'm just feeling like I can't get there on my own. And should I either let go of that vision because I'm just not, like, for me, it was like, I tried alarm after alarm, to get up at 5 a.m. I wanted to work out. I wanted to take some time for myself. I wanted to make this change for myself, but I just wasn't doing it. And some days it was excuses. Some days it was just the alarm didn't motivate me enough. But the guilt of missing your phone call was the biggest motivator for me. But then also the conversation, every day I started to look forward, to, oh, I get to talk to Melissa in the morning. I better get to bed early, like, I want to talk with her. I have things to tell her. Things happen today. I can't wait to tell her, and then, I think that accountability is that you have this version that you want to become. You don't know all the steps to get there. And you also need someone to some days pull you up because you've fallen, or you need some guidance on that journey. And we're not supposed to live life alone. We don't have to do this alone. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, is that I saw this other version. I was hitting a roadblock trying to get there myself. And I called in Melissa to help me. And so many good things happened along the way of those 21 days. And after, I just knew that this was the first step. I wanted to take this time for myself. And I knew that having this extra block of time in the morning was going to be key for me. But, people want to be accountable to a lot of different things. For me, it was just getting up early and taking that time for myself, for not only health, but mental and time to be able to spend on other things. So whatever that version of what you want to become accountable to, whether that's, I really want to start this business, but I'm not finding the time to do it, or I don't know how to get there. Having an accountability partner, and having someone that's skilled and trained to do that. I think the people in our lives, friends and family, those are great accountability partners, but they also aren't objective. They all have a vested interest in, something in your life. And also you can't necessarily always depend on, I can't really think of any, even my best friends. And I think one of them's on this call. I don't think she would call me at 5 a.m. every day for 21 days. So I think having a skilled and trained accountability partner for something big, a big change, or, a big goal. And then, once you've made it a habit, look at me. I'm a year later. I'm now a fitness instructor. So, I took the whole working out in the morning, to a whole nother level. And again, that extra time is allotted for so many really gratifying things in my life. And I've gotten in a half of a work day before the kids even wake up now. It's awesome. And feel so accomplished with that. And Melissa was a big part of that. Sorry, I talked so long.
No, it's good. It's good. And that's what I like about our interaction, is because we have been on the journey together for such a long time. We've seen each other, in our weakest moments, our worst moments, and our best moments. And that's why I like to have you on this call, because of just knowing the connection that we have. And, someone had mentioned too about, all the trauma that they've been through in their life, and then wearing the different masks. And, we cover it up sometimes, like you were talking about the eating during the COVID, and you knew that wasn't in your best interest, but you just knew that that's what you needed. It's almost like the comfort, the make me feel better is what you thought, or what we think at the time. And it was, and that's okay. We can be okay with that. I actually, went into the spiral with the alcohol addiction and the overeating and the spending money and using tobacco. And it was all because the success was too much. It was really, my dad didn't really care for successful people. My rich aunt was like, he just was appalled by that. But I think it was really his story of, he didn't have that amount of money, so he's going to talk about those that have it. He doesn't really care for them. And God rest his soul. So what I learned from that experience was I was masking that because of a belief that he created in my life that no one will like me if I'm successful. And so that's where I started using those tools. And then I was able to let them go for a period of time to recognize, who am I? That's not the version of Melissa that I was happy with. But I had to forgive myself in a manner that said, you just did what you knew to do in that moment, in that time. And thank goodness I was able to find clarity, that I was in a place that I could say, I don't want this for me. I don't want this to be my story. The story could have been my life was ended, right? It could have been that easy. And it was like, I was really going in that direction. So why not make a conscious change? And getting support. I've worked with coaches for the past 12 years because I've needed them in different capacities. And that's what I love about coaching, is because with me, I give you business and life. I give you IT skills. I give you motivation. I give you drive, focus. If you've done it, I've probably done it, or we have a similar situation. Like, that's where this getting the accountability, not only on a goal or something you're trying to achieve, but also just in your whole body of life. Everything you do, like that earlier slide when we talked about spirituality, family, business, career, health, wellness, all of those things. And that's what we work on together so that you can really do that. But your vision board is the kickoff for that. So I want to remind you moving forward these things from this conversation, and you all can get a copy of the slide deck as well as the recording. There's also an opportunity to talk to me, as well as getting my 5 steps to your own drive. But moving forward, be sure that you're visualizing what you're visualizing, you can achieve these goals and see your dream come true. So if it is this thinner version of you, this more wealthier version of you, a more spiritual version of you, just make sure that as you visualize that goal, you actually see it through to the end. If I'm here and I want to get there, what does that person look like? And maybe you find a celebrity or a good friend or a family member that's already where you want to be, or slightly where you want to be. And just think about them, ask them questions. How did you get there? What do you see? What do you do on a day-to-day basis? Because that, again, was one of the things that, like watching Amy with her 3 children and being a very career-oriented woman, and helping Pete do his PS Never Give Up charitable foundation, and just all of these shifts and changes. I can relate to a lot of it. I'm inspired by most of it. It's just like, I want to hang out with Amy more, right? Like, I want to be with her, and that's what we do. And it's not, we could go months and never have a conversation, but we can also pick back up right where we are. So that's what I mean by, when you're doing that, achieving those goals, just like I mentioned, go to the car dealership and sit in that car. Get online and look at Indeed for career opportunities, or LinkedIn. Like, if you're looking for change and you want to see this new version, you've got to start somewhere. That's taking that action. And then keep that vision alive, put it somewhere, make a collage, put it on your phone, do your daily affirmations that say that, I am a rock star. And someone put in the comments that I'm already a rock star. So thank you, because I thought when I read that, oh, when we hear rock star, I immediately thought of a singer on stage with a microphone, right? But I can have this version of the rock star, just like the golf course was the version of me being that successful corporate woman, right? So it comes in many shapes and forms and different varieties. So just be open to that. I would like to have this and more, please, or something better. Just like when you order from the menu at your favorite restaurant, you don't run back there to make sure that they're cooking the steak right, or the shrimp have been buttered in garlic. You just trust that when you said, this is my order, it came to you. And sometimes it's not always, 100%, but sometimes you even get a little extra. So keep that in mind. Playfulness is a part of this visualization and creating these vision boards. And then let your thoughts inspire you and motivate you, just like I'm doing right now. Can you feel the energy in me? Like, I get so excited when I talk about this, like, holy crap, why is not everybody doing this? I'll have what she's having kind of phrase, right? I want that for those of you who've taken the time to show up and be a part of this. You're not here by accident. I believe everything in divine timing. And, you know, the close to 100 registrations we had for this vision board, the ones that show up are the ones that are getting the energy behind it. But the others, I get it. Schedules change. You can't always be a part of it, but they're going to get the replay too. So I feel this message is going to be filtering out across the waves so that those of you who are ready to take that next step, you get to have an opportunity to do that.
That's
Anything
awesome.
to add, Amy?
No, I'm just so excited that you were able to share this. I think it's perfect timing with, you know, the new year coming up, and this helps to, you know, get that visualization, you know, start to get those thoughts of like, okay, what do I want to have in this next year and beyond? And, you know, it gives us a little bit of time. It's not right. You know, the new year is not all the way here. It gives us a little bit of time to think about it and create. And, also, I want to, you know, just share that vision boards can change and adapt throughout the year. You don't have to create something right now and not touch it for the whole rest of the year. You know, have it be adaptive to new opportunities that open up, or new inspirations, or new things that happen. And so I just want to, you know, personally share that, you know, there's always going to be things that pop up, especially it's still an adaptable world that we're living in right now. So this is a living, breathing document with the vision board. And, you know, I think that a lot of us are going to be creating visions and goals this time of year. And I know I've personally benefited from Melissa and those one-on-one calls. I haven't been a part of the group calls that you do. I know you have a Facebook group, and you do some of the group settings and things like that. The one-on-one calls have been amazing, that I've been a part of, and they've really helped me with the accountability, and then just knowing that I have someone to talk to about these goals, and you know my story, and you kind of keep me on track, and you keep me focused, and you help me see things in different ways. So if that's something that anybody's looking for, I definitely recommend Melissa for that. And the book, the ebook is amazing. So I highly recommend reading that, and also follow her on Facebook. She's all the time posting great videos and inspirational messages, and it's just good to have in your network, and, you know, have that in your feed, and it just brightens my day, I know, whenever I see it. So just a few things to kind of leave you with there. We'll be doing a big follow-up. We will send a link for the recap and the presentation, how to be able to get the ebook, and how to be able to get that free one-on-one call with Melissa, and all of those things. So just be checking your email, and feel free to forward it on if there was something that we talked about that you think might benefit someone. If you know of someone who, you know, has a business that they're wanting to start, or a foundation, or, you know, a side hustle they want to turn into a full-time hustle, you know, definitely share this, because these are the tools, these are the things, and this is really the time of the year that I think we're the most open to change and taking on new big challenges. And so please feel free to share this with anyone that you think that might enjoy it, and we can just keep the information flow going. So I appreciate everybody taking the time to participate, and Melissa's contact information will be in the recap email, so feel free to reach out directly to her.
Yeah. And don't forget, January the 6th, save the date, from 12 to 1. This presentation is going to be a follow-up to Elevate. What is it? New Year, Elevated You.
Right,
So,
right. Well, it's kind of the take on New Year, New You. It's like, I feel like people, that message doesn't resonate with everyone. They're like, I don't want a whole completely new me, or, you know, some people might not. I want the best version of me possible. I want to elevate who I am now. So that's kind of why we thought, okay, it's going to be in the new year. Let's revisit with Melissa. Maybe a lot of us are going to be getting to work on those vision boards. And now it's like, okay, the new year's here. we're already a week into it pretty much. What are the next steps? What are the next things that I need to do? What is this whole thing about manifesting? What is this whole thing about, what do these things mean? I've heard a lot about them. What are the practical ways that I can incorporate these things into my life? So we'll be revisiting with Melissa, and she's going to be doing another virtual workshop. We're going to be doing it at lunchtime again. So please feel free to share with friends, and feel free to grab your lunch and be eating. And if you're back to the office, and please feel free to join us for that. That'll be great. And we'll send a link to that to RSVP as well.
Yeah, thank you everyone for showing up today and giving yourself permission. And Amy, thank you so much for always being a light that can shine just as bright as mine. Together, we really illuminate the room. So yeah, and I do. Be sure to go to melissakirkpatrickbusinesscoach.com. That's where you'll find the link to the Facebook group where I do free training on Tuesdays. You'll be able to see other services that I offer there, and just book that call with me. And if there's a time that doesn't work for you, then message me and we'll figure that out, because I know how important it is for the follow-up. So don't let this training just go to the wayside. Take inspired action and make the call. So it is 1 o'clock on the dot. So thank you all for coming. Have an amazing rest of your, I set the intention we'd be done right at 1. Have an amazing day, ladies. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.